Your face visited the port city on the campaign trail today. Former Democratic Governor Roy Cooper held a campaign rally in Wilmington. It's part of his Make Stuff Cost Less tour. Cooper is running for the U.S. Senate seat currently held by Senator Thom Tillis, who is not seeking re-election. The former governor says he hopes to highlight his work to make life more affordable for North Carolinians.
I'm ready to be an independent voice for North Carolina, focused on better paying jobs, affordable health care, protecting Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and just making stuff cost less.
Cooper is running against Republican Michael Whatley. Whatley is the former chair of the Republican National Committee.